Prepare for a jaw-dropping journey as we reveal the harrowing tales of corrupt cops who never saw their downfall coming. In today's episode, we'll witness the stunning reactions of these law-breaking officers as they face the cold reality of their unexpected prison sentences. Brace yourselves as we venture into the dark side of law enforcement and watch the tables turn on these crooked protectors of the peace. First, we have Daniel Holtzclaw, an ex-law enforcement officer from Oklahoma City, who made news in 2015 due to his conviction on several charges of rape, sexual assault, forced oral copulation, and other sexual offenses. The severity of Holtzclaw's crimes were amplified by his role as a municipal officer at the Oklahoma City Police Department and his respectable family lineage. Born on December 10, 1986, in the American territory of Guam to Kumiko Holtzclaw, a Japanese national, and his father, Eric Holtzclaw, a lieutenant at the Enid Police Department about 70 miles north of Oklahoma City. His conviction fell ironically on his birthday, December 10, 2015, a day typically marked by celebration. In December 2015, he was deemed guilty of 18 out of the 36 accusations levied against him, and was handed a 263-year prison sentence in January 2016, a recommendation made by the jury and communicated by his lawyer. Before these events, Holtzclaw was alleged to have sexually violated multiple African-American women between December 2013 and June 2014. As per law enforcement investigators, Holtzclaw conducted background checks on women with open warrants or criminal histories, and systematically preyed on these victims. He exploited his authority to threaten and manipulate susceptible women into engaging in sexual acts with him. Allegations include the sexual assault of 3 women, one of whom was a teenager under police custody.
Just because they should have reviewed it for what it is. The woman clearly states Daniel never touched her. We just hope that one day that Daniel's given the chance to clear his name.
He was additionally convicted of committing obscene acts and harassing 2 other women during the proceedings. A victim attested that Holtzclaw had violated her on multiple occasions, including an instance when he was clad in his uniform and on duty. She revealed that he coerced her with the threat of incarceration if she resisted his advances. Holtzclaw denied all accusations and received backing from a handful of individuals, among them conservative pundit Michelle Malkin and a board member of the Innocence Project, Jason Flom. Regardless, on October 1, 2019, the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals affirmed Holtzclaw's convictions and imprisonment term, dismissing his appeal. Subsequently, Holtzclaw's indefatigable legal team presented a plea to the Supreme Court of the United States, contending that consolidating 17 cases strains belief. Yet, on March 9, 2020, the Supreme Court refrained from examining the case, effectively concluding Holtzclaw's legal struggle. Consequently, Holtzclaw was handed a 260-year prison term for his offenses, with the judge remarking that his deeds had violated the faith of the society he was duty-bound to safeguard. In addition to his extensive jail term, Holtzclaw was also directed to pay $12,000 as fines and reparations to his victims. In video footage of the court's deliberations, Holtzclaw can be observed seated in the courtroom while the judge announces his sentence, weeping and shaking his head in denial.
All right, would you hand your verdict forms to my bailiff, please? The verdict seemed to be in proper order. This is in the District Court of Oklahoma County. Defendant is guilty of the crime of sexual battery and set punishment at 8 years. Not guilty of the crime of procuring lewd exhibition. Defendant is guilty of the crime of procuring lewd exhibition and punishment is set at 5 years.
This narrative involves Newman Raja, an ex-police officer. In 2019, he was convicted of 1 count of manslaughter due to culpable negligence and another count of attempted first-degree murder using a firearm for the lethal shooting of Corey Jones, a 31-year-old musician and housing inspector in 2015. The incident occurred in Florida on August 18, 2015 at around 3:15 a.m., while Jones awaited assistance on the side of a highway after his car experienced a breakdown. On that day, Raja was operating as an undercover cop and had approached Jones in an unmarked van wearing civilian attire. He alleged that he believed the vehicle was deserted and intended to conduct a brief inspection when he noticed Jones seated in the car. According to Raja, he engaged in a swift conversation with Jones and asked to search the vehicle, which led to the uncovering of a legally acquired handgun belonging to Corey Jones. Raja asserted that Jones had aimed the gun at him, prompting him to draw his own firearm and shoot at Jones. Nonetheless, prosecutors contended that Raja had failed to adequately identify himself as a law enforcement officer, leading Jones to assume he was being mugged. Furthermore, they argued that Raja had employed excessive force and breached department guidelines by not donning his uniform or badge during the shooting. Additionally, within moments of approaching, Raja had discharged 6 rounds at Jones, fatally striking him with 3 shots even as he attempted to escape the scene. Following the trial, Newman K. Raja was handed a 25-year prison sentence for manslaughter and attempted murder, with an extra 30 years for the offense of discharging a firearm while perpetrating a felony. He was also directed to pay $23,000 in compensation to the Jones family.
As I've already adjudicated Mr. Raja previously, on count 1, I hereby sentence him to 25 years in the Department of Corrections. And on count 2, I hereby sentence Mr. Raja to 25 years in the Department of Corrections. That is as a minimum mandatory, which was required that he serve day for day.
This incident represented a crucial point in the continuing discourse on police brutality and the excessive employment of force by law enforcement personnel, especially in instances involving African Americans. It was deemed a triumph for the Jones family and advocates who had been demanding justice since the event took place. The legal system is designed to maintain the law and deliver justice to those who violate it.
This should have never happened. My uncle should still be with us alive.
Zachary Wester once served as a sheriff's deputy in Jackson County, Florida. Yet, beneath his gleaming badge and uniform, Wester concealed a sinister secret. He grew intoxicated by the might of his role and started to misuse his power in ways that would stun his peers and the whole community. He was found guilty on several counts, including racketeering, official wrongdoing, perjury, manufacturing evidence, and owning controlled substances. He received a 12-year prison sentence on September 7, 2021. Wester's string of offenses commenced in 2016 when he started to target unsuspecting drivers and planted drugs on them during standard traffic checks. His deeds were uncovered when a motorist lodged a complaint against him, sparking an investigation. The inquiry revealed that Wester had been framing individuals with drugs for several years and was apprehended in 2019. Wester's past compromised a troubled timeline. He was previously dismissed from a distinct law enforcement agency in Florida in 2016 for not meeting agency criteria. Despite this, he managed to secure employment as a deputy in Jackson County. Throughout his trial, Wester asserted his innocence, contending he had been framed and had never planted any illegal substances on anyone. Yet the evidence brought against him was compelling, and the jury declared him guilty on 19 charges. During the trial, a portion of the body cam recordings was erased. When questioned about this, Wester claimed he wished he had an explanation. He persisted in his deception, insisting the drugs were present, but he wasn't the one who placed them there. Wester's demeanor in court was characterized as haughty and dismissive. He displayed scant remorse for his deeds and seemed more preoccupied with shielding his image than acknowledging his offenses. Some of the victims of his wrongdoings were in attendance in the courtroom during the trial and sentencing, expressing contentment with the verdict. Besides his 12-year incarceration, Wester was also mandated to pay upwards of $100,000 in penalties. The community of Jackson County and beyond wrestles with the fallout of Wester's offenses, and the quest for justice for the call of accountability persists as the forefront of the battle for an equitable and righteous criminal justice system.